Hello everyone, back again with a new build. I call this the Paladin build because of the aesthetics of it and the weapon choice and obviously the shield choice. I would also say that this is somewhat of an advanced build for two reasons. One, the two main weapons that we're using are locked behind many runs of Crucible. I have done countless runs of the Crucible and I have many copies of almost everything that is possible to get, but only two tarnished wands. And the other component of the build being the Glimmering Bulwark. This is not as hard to get, in my experience, as the Tarnished Wand, but still, because both of them are locked behind Crucible runs, and add to the fact that Tarnished Wands has a very mobile moveset, which can actually push you over the edges if you're not careful with your button presses. I would call this somewhat of an advanced build, but let's go through the components and take a look at what we have, and we'll discuss this further as we start the run. As mentioned before, the main weapon is the Tarnished Wand, because I couldn't find any hammers that would really fit the theme, and also this is not a combo that I've seen a lot of people build around. It does have a very interesting, unique affix attached to it called Enlightenment, and I will explain how that works in just a second after we look at the other affixes. So, on the wand, you want to slot it with lifesteal. You really need this because you don't get enough healing as you would get with other weapons that you can have percent healing per kill. You don't have that. This is a legendary, so you can't swap the affixes. Then you want to obviously exalt every other affix that you can. The wand comes with 3 spells: Charged Bolt, Static, and Lightning Bolt. Charged Bolt sends out little lightning bolts around you that expand in a circle, and they travel quite a distance. Static charges you with electric shock, and you will periodically shock enemies around you. Lightning Bolt is your main damage rune. This is a targeted spell, but it has area of effect. So it will always land on your current target, but it will do damage around your target. You cannot target the area it lands on. You can only target the actual enemy that you will be hitting it with. For your offhand, you are going with the Glimmering Bulwark, and you are obviously trying to exalt the affixes on it. Now, on the subject of Enlightenment, Enlightenment is really important to this build because while you're enlightened, you get stamina cost reduction, damage taken reduction, and rune damage increase. The way you apply you keep up your enlightenment is by applying lightning damage with your wand or by doing parries with your shield. Either one of these will bring up your enlightenment status. For the armor set, I am going with the Covenant Knight set. It's a mesh set, so it gives you a really good balance of armor and resistances while keeping you at a reasonable weight limit. For your headpiece, you want to go for shock buildup, then you want to go for damage taken reduction and healing increase based on durability. You want to go for focus gain on inflicting any buildup, and then you want to go with electric damage increase. You can get either drain focus in combat or drain health in combat on this, and another piece of your gear, and you will not really notice it. Uh, but I've gone with drain focus in here. For your chest piece, you want to have max health increase, then you want to go for damage taken reduction, focus increase based on durability. You want to go for overall speed increase after shock buildup, and then you want to go for a destructible combo. On your gloves, you want to go for focus cost reduction, focus gain increase, healing increase based on durability, shock buildup, and indestructible combo. On your pants, you want to go with stamina cost reduction, damage taken decrease, focus increase, healing increase, all based on durability, and again with the indestructible combo. For your rings, you definitely want to go with a ring that gives you stamina. I've gone with Jade Ring here because the moveset of the wand, while being pretty fast in animation, also includes a double attack, which has really good returns paired with the Jade Ring. You could go with the Crow Ring, but I wouldn't say that's optimal. Then you want to add your Willow Ring to get more speed and attack speed, and you want to finish off with Stone Tusk Ring. As always, you want to have Plague resistance on all three, and then you want to split your resistances 3 ways between cold, heat, and electric. Alternative ring options are Agility Ring and Band of Calmness. You could slot these as you see fit. Yeah, I would say the only ring that I would say you should consider switching out of this build first would be the Willow Cap Ring, because both Stone Tusk and Jade are kind of important, but again, this really depends on your playstyle. So experiment with it and see what fits your style. This is always how I look at it. This is a general guideline, some maybe even an inspiration. This is not the only way this build can be played. Alright, so let's get going and look at how the build plays and point out a few things I've learned in my runs. And so, when do you use your spells? Basically, you wait until you have your enlightenment status up. And that comes up, there, it's up. You see that golden little sign under my health bar? That is your enlightenment status. And it comes up right after you've applied your shock damage, or if you've executed a successful parry. And you want to use your spells when it's up, because it significantly boosts up your damage. The other thing to be careful about, as I mentioned earlier, in this particular room it's not a concern, but once you get into rooms that have dangerous edges that you can fall off, be really careful with your button presses. And you really need to be controlling your character around edges if you don't want to be falling into the abyss. Other than these two, the build is pretty straightforward. It has a lot of survivability and it has a lot of healing. Well, I wouldn't say it has a lot of healing. I'd say it has just about enough healing. And let's see what we got. Well, that's not good. Anyway, we'll have to be careful of our health. So at the start of a room, if you have enough focus, you will do your static charge, and then follow that up with your, what was that called? The charge bolt. Yeah, this is exactly the kind of room you really want to be careful with the edges. Be light on the button presses. The wand has 20 poise break on it, so on the small enemies like that, it will very easily break their stance. On the knights it doesn't, but on those enemies you can break their stance very easily and knock them out of their attack animation. So just be careful, and you should not fall too off. Oh, I thought he was the last one. Now, lightning bolt, sorry, it takes a lot of focus, so barring the use of Ring of Determination, I think you could have your own spin on this and make this a focus build-up build and just go for using that spell as much as you can if you had a larger reservoir of focus, but I have just enough focus built into this that if you take one of those echoes that gives you... Sorry, I just confused one. So there are these echoes that you can take that will boost up your rune damage at the cost of increasing the spell cost. I have just enough focus that if you take those runes, you will still have enough focus to be able to use all of your spells. But you could change this around and have more focus built into this. But this spell is also really good at breaking these things, and there are always some echoes in there. So it boosts up your total echo count. Okay, let's see if we can find anything that will give us a little bit of excitement. That's not very exciting. Don't tell me you enchanted my weapon. Okay. That was the echo that I was talking about. Increased rune damage at the cost of spell cost basically. I guess that echo doesn't overwrite it? Okay, that's good. I thought... Yeah, I thought that echo would overwrite my lightning damage, but luckily it doesn't. If I had to point out any shortcomings of this build, I would say I like to build some kind of ranged options into my runes so that I can deal with certain enemies that are super mobile or like to camp edges. So this is the only issue with this build, is that you don't really get to choose anything with your spells, and it could be problematic at first when you're getting used to it, but I don't find it to be too much of a bother. It's definitely an enjoyable build because it's not too squishy. It gives you a little bit of freedom to take some hits from your enemies. Okay, let's try to speed this up a little bit and get to the Echo Knight. Oh, the backflip. There's enough damage in here. There's a lot of survivability, and I think it's quite good enough to actually deal with the Echo Knight consistently. I do concede that I had some damage and stuff in here, but I don't think without those it would have been an unmanageable fight by any means. So this was the build. I called the Paladin build. Hopefully you guys enjoyed checking it out. And if you have any comments and suggestions, as always, do let me know. If you have any comments directly regarding this build and how you would make it better, I would also love to hear those too. Other than that, I don't think there's much else to say about this. Like I said, it's a pretty straightforward build. I hope you can recreate it and how you can get your hands on these weapons. They are fun. They're not overpowered, but they're fun to play with and good to have in your collection. Anyways, have a great day and see you in the next video. Bye.